Our theme this month is the Year of the Ox, the Year of the Vax. February the 12th will mark the beginning of the Year of the Ox in the lunar calendar. In Chinese culture, oxen are known for diligence, dependability and determination, traits we will all need to rely on in the coming months, while vaccine deployment proceeds at an ox-like pace. As we enter February, the depths of winter in the Northern Hemisphere, the pandemic shadow is once again darkening much of Europe and North America, and a weary populace may be forgiven a dream of spring. We would like to share our analysis of pandemic data that points towards connections to economies and property markets. Some insight may be drawn from the recent UK Siren study, which found that having been previously infected does indeed confer strong protection. This recovered population may help to slow the spread of the disease while effective vaccines are being deployed. However, estimating the size of these recovered immune populations means looking beyond official case counts, which have been biased by testing capacity that's varied considerably over time and from place to place. In this month's macro deck, we examine estimates of total infections, whether symptomatic or not, whether picked up by official testing or not, which were developed by the Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation at the University of Washington in the US. Their model suggests that in some countries, nearly a quarter of the population may already have been infected. Two nations which have endured a horrible pandemic experience, the United States and the United Kingdom, have also played important roles in vaccine development and have secured large numbers of vaccine doses. Benefiting from an early start, they have been able to ramp up their vaccine programs swiftly and are now immunizing hundreds of thousands of people per day. Combined with a relatively large number of COVID survivors with immunity, the US and the UK may well be on the way to gaining widespread population resistance to the coronavirus.
We've been in constant contact throughout the pandemic with our LaSalle Research and Strategy colleagues elsewhere in the world. In Asia Pacific, those words that we use to describe the ox, diligence and determination, they could also be used to describe the successful response of governments in that region to the pandemic. Meticulous traveler quarantines, testing protocols, contact tracing systems, these will all remain in place while the vaccine rollout begins. And while they're getting a slightly later start, some Asian governments have announced ambitious programs that, when realized, would put their immunity levels on track to be commensurate with those in Europe and North America later in the year. In the US, a new administration is putting comprehensive federal-level COVID control measures in place for effectively the first time. Meanwhile, the European Union has taken a stand to ensure that it gets its promised share of vaccine doses. Remaining challenges include dealing with new variants of the virus, gaining a deeper understanding of immunity through infection, and conducting analysis of vaccine efficacy. This will be the second consecutive Lunar New Year for which this normally bustling cross-border travel period remains constrained by the pandemic. But domestic travel in Asia is showing signs of a gradual return to a near normal, and progress has been made in the region with bilateral travel arrangements, sometimes called travel bubbles. But a return to frictionless global travel is going to have to wait until the vaccination push is completed and its impacts are assessed. The worst-hit countries in the West, having proven incapable or unwilling to control the virus through public health measures, may at least enjoy a hopeful future as population immunity levels rise. But ox-like strength will be required to pull economies out of this pandemic recession. Our analysis indicates that each region and country is going to follow a slightly different path to controlling COVID-19, but it is clear that the Year of the Ox will also be the Year of the Vax.